The world outside is still quiet. A thin line of gold stretches across the horizon, slowly pushing away the weight of the night. In these first gentle moments of the morning, something sacred happens. Before the noise, before the lists, before the responsibilities crowd in, the soul has a chance to breathe. Sometimes the most beautiful thing we can do is simply open our eyes and reach for God's hand. We do not have to figure out the whole day. We do not have to carry the uncertainty alone. The same God who painted the sunrise wants to walk beside us through every step. Take a slow breath. Let it fill your chest like warm light spilling into a dark room. Let it remind you that you are here, alive, chosen to live this very day. Whatever yesterday held, it has passed. Whatever tomorrow brings, it will come in its own time. But today begins here, in this holy quiet. In many families, mornings are filled with rush and routine. Parents prepare breakfast. Children search for missing shoes. Elders sit by windows with warm tea, watching the world slowly awaken. And somewhere between the toast and the traffic, prayers can be forgotten. Yet, these moments are where peace is meant to enter. When families pray together in the morning, something subtle but powerful happens. It's not just words spoken into the air. It's hearts aligning. It's generations connecting. A grandparent whispering blessings for their children. A parent placing silent hopes into God's hands. A young adult finding strength to step into a world that often feels too heavy. Many of us grew up in homes where faith was both spoken and lived. Perhaps you remember your grandmother's gentle voice each morning. Her hands folded, her eyes soft with trust. She didn't need to give a sermon. Her quiet faith taught more than words ever could. Or maybe you didn't grow up with that. Maybe mornings were filled with tension, silence, or struggle. If that's true, hear this clearly. You have the power to begin a new rhythm today. Prayer is not about perfection. It's about presence. It's about turning our attention toward the one who already loves us. When you invite God into your morning, you are not performing. You are simply opening the door. Family psychology tells us that the first emotional tone set in the morning shapes the way people carry themselves throughout the day. A home that begins with chaos tends to ripple that chaos outward. A home that begins with silence and prayer plants seeds of peace that quietly grow through each conversation, each task, each challenge. Imagine this. A father leaves for work after a quiet morning prayer. Traffic is heavy. Someone cuts him off. Normally, frustration would rise. But today, his spirit is steady. He remembers the words he whispered earlier, "Lord, walk with me." Instead of honking, he exhales. Instead of anger, patience fills the space. That moment, though small, changes the direction of his day. Or a young woman steps into a busy hospital hallway. She is a nurse, carrying both the weight of responsibility and the quiet worries of her own heart. Before leaving home, she paused to pray by her bedside. "Lord, give me strength and kindness for everyone I meet today." Hours later, when exhaustion tries to steal her grace, she remembers that morning moment. Her prayer becomes her anchor. When we start our day with gratitude and connection, we do more than protect our peace. We offer peace to others. Close your eyes for a moment and think about the faces in your life. Family, friends, colleagues, neighbors. There are stories behind each of those faces. Some carry unspoken pain. Some wake up feeling alone. Some are quietly holding everything together. Your simple act of beginning the day with light can become the gentle spark that brightens their path too. God's presence is not reserved for churches or quiet rooms. It meets us in kitchens, in cars, on sidewalks, in the spaces where real life unfolds. Morning prayer is not about escaping reality. It's about letting the divine walk into reality with us. For some, the first step is just whispering thank you. Thank you for this breath. Thank you for this morning. Thank you for not leaving me alone. Gratitude unlocks the heart. It turns ordinary moments into sacred ground. There are mornings when faith feels strong, and the words flow like a calm river. And there are mornings when faith feels far away, when the heart is tired, when all you can manage is a single word. Help. That too is prayer. God hears the whispered prayers of weary hearts as clearly as the joyful songs of the strong. If you carry pain from your past, especially from your family story, know this. Your morning prayers are not just for today. They are also quiet seeds of healing for tomorrow. Many wounds between generations were created in silence. But many healings begin in whispers of prayer. When a parent chooses patience over anger. When a child learns to speak honestly. When forgiveness replaces old resentment. These shifts often begin in moments like this one. Let this morning be a turning point. Whether you live alone in a small apartment or in a bustling house full of voices, this sunrise carries the same gentle invitation. Start with God. Speak with honesty. Receive peace. Now take another deep breath. Feel the light of this new day on your face. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to carry yesterday's failures. You just need to take the first step with a heart open to grace. Let's begin together. Community affirmation. Let's learn to love and communicate more healthily every day. As the morning unfolds, life begins to move. Doors open. Phones buzz. Responsibilities line up one after another, waiting to be faced. This is where prayer moves from a quiet moment into a living rhythm. It is not meant to stay in the corner of a room. It is meant to walk with us through every hallway, every street, every conversation of the day. There is a beautiful truth found in the simple act of inviting God to walk with us. It changes the way we see everything. Challenges stop being proof that we are alone. They become places where grace can show up. Unexpected moments stop feeling like accidents. They become opportunities for growth and trust. Think about how a parent walks with a child through a crowded market. The child may not understand every sound, every movement, every direction, but their small hand rests inside the parent's hand. That hand becomes their safety, their anchor, their confidence. Life can feel like that crowded market. Loud, unpredictable, overwhelming. But the hand of God is steady. This is where faith meets psychology. Human beings are wired to seek safety and belonging. Children who grow up knowing that someone is emotionally present and steady often develop stronger resilience when facing difficulties. Adults who practice daily connection with something larger than themselves often experience less anxiety and more clarity in decision-making. Prayer, in this sense, is not just a spiritual act. It's an emotional anchor. Imagine beginning each day by intentionally placing your thoughts, emotions, and plans into God's hands. It's like laying down heavy bags at the feet of someone strong enough to carry them. You are not abandoning responsibility. You are acknowledging that you do not walk alone. As you go through your day, there will be moments that test this truth. Someone might speak to you in anger. A plan might fall apart. You may receive unexpected news. These moments are crossroads. They give you a chance to react as you always have, or to breathe and remember that morning conversation with God. Lord, walk with me. When families build this rhythm together, something beautiful happens. Conversations begin to soften. Misunderstandings lose their sharp edge. Even disagreements can become opportunities for healing rather than fuel for bitterness. Consider a mother who has had a difficult relationship with her adult daughter. They often speak, but their conversations are tense. One morning, the mother prays quietly, God, help me to listen with love today. Hours later, when a conversation begins to turn tense, she remembers that prayer. Instead of defending, she listens. Instead of reacting, she breathes. Slowly, the tone changes. What could have been another argument becomes the beginning of a bridge. Healing between generations often happens in small, repeated choices. A pause instead of a shout. A kind word instead of silence. A willingness to understand rather than to prove a point. Prayer gives strength for these choices. Spiritual mornings build emotional muscles. When we start our day with intention, we train our hearts to respond differently when life surprises us. Instead of running on instinct or fear, we begin to respond from a place of peace. The scriptures remind us not to be afraid because God walks with us. But in everyday life, that can sound easier than it feels. Faith is not the absence of fear. It's the presence of trust within it. It's the quiet voice saying, even here, you are not alone. Picture yourself walking through your workplace or your neighborhood. Imagine every step surrounded by unseen light. Not a light that removes every challenge, but a light that keeps your heart steady. When you speak to someone, imagine that light flowing through your words, softening hearts. When you make decisions, imagine that light guiding your thoughts. This is not fantasy. It's a way of training your inner world. Just as athletes train their bodies, believers train their hearts through prayer and practice. The more often you remember to walk with God through your day, the more natural it becomes. Technology often pulls our minds in 1,000 directions. A notification can interrupt a peaceful moment in an instant. But what if, instead of letting those interruptions control us, we turn them into reminders? Every buzz becomes a chance to whisper, "Thank you, Lord." Every delay becomes a chance to breathe and trust. Some people place small reminders around their homes or workplaces. A verse near the coffee maker. A short prayer on the dashboard. A phrase written on a mirror. These are not decorations. They are gentle invitations to return to peace again and again. Family psychologists often speak of emotional contagion. It means that the emotional tone of one person in a family often spreads to others. If one person carries bitterness, the atmosphere can become tense. But if one person chooses calm and faith, that spirit can slowly influence the entire home. You have more power than you realize to shift the atmosphere of the spaces you enter. A grandfather's morning prayer can ripple through his grandchildren's day. A teenager's whispered gratitude can soften a parent's heart. A couple choosing to begin their morning together in prayer can create a home where patience grows like sunlight in a room. And when hardship strikes, as it sometimes will, those same rhythms become lifelines. A family who prays together learns to face loss, disappointment, or change not as isolated individuals, but as a united circle of hearts leaning on something greater. Maybe you're listening to this and thinking, my family is far from this. We argue. We misunderstand each other. We are distant. If that is true, I want to remind you of something powerful. Every new rhythm begins with one person willing to take the first step. You do not need everyone to change at once. You simply begin. Your quiet morning prayers may not change your family overnight, but they will begin to change the atmosphere within you. Over time, that inner transformation can speak louder than any argument. Peace has a way of spreading silently. As you walk through today, let your steps be guided not by fear, but by faith. Let your reactions be shaped not by old wounds, but by the new hope that morning prayer planted in your heart. God is not distant. He is not waiting for you to prove yourself. He is already beside you, whispering, keep walking. Keep trusting. I am with you. Community affirmation. Let's learn to love and communicate more healthily every day. As the sun begins to lower and the light softens into gold, the pace of the day naturally shifts. Some are driving home through busy streets. Some are sitting by windows, reflecting on what has passed. Others are still in the middle of their work, carrying the final tasks of the day. Wherever you find yourself, these closing hours hold a quiet invitation. The same God who greeted you in the morning wants to walk beside you into the evening. Many people live their days like hurried travelers, rushing from one moment to the next without pausing to breathe. But when we end our day with reflection and gratitude, we do something powerful. We close the circle. We acknowledge what has been given, what has been learned, and where we still need grace. Gratitude is more than a polite habit. It is a transformative force. Psychologists have found that people who practice daily gratitude experience lower stress, better sleep, and stronger relationships. But beyond science, gratitude is a way of seeing the world through the eyes of faith. It is looking at the ordinary and recognizing the fingerprints of God all over it. Think back over your day. Maybe it was full of beauty. Maybe it held challenges. Maybe it was a mix of both. There were moments when things went smoothly and moments when frustration tried to take root. There were conversations that lifted you and perhaps some that weighed you down. Through it all, God was present. This evening, pause to breathe that truth in. Even if you felt alone in certain moments, His presence did not leave. Even if you made mistakes, His grace did not run out. This is the beauty of walking with God. His companionship is not dependent on our perfection. It is grounded in His unwavering love. Families who end their day with gratitude plant seeds of emotional security in the hearts of each member. When children hear their parents say, "Thank you, Lord, for today," they learn that even imperfect days are worthy of thanksgiving. When parents hear their teenagers reflect with honesty, they sense trust being built. When elders whisper blessings over their loved ones, they pass down more than words. They pass down a way of living. Imagine a family gathered in their living room as night falls. The television is off. The phones are set aside. One by one, each person shares something small they are grateful for. A kind word from a friend. A moment of unexpected laughter. The taste of warm bread. A quiet conversation that brought understanding. These may seem small, but they are the threads that weave a family together. Intergenerational healing often happens in these gentle rituals. Many of us carry stories from the past where silence replaced understanding, where hurtful words were never mended, where love was felt but rarely spoken. Ending the day with gratitude creates a safe place where hearts can slowly begin to speak again. If you live alone, this practice is just as meaningful. Gratitude spoken aloud, even in an empty room, fills the air with life. It shifts your focus from what is lacking to what has been given. It reminds you that you are not truly alone, for the divine presence is near. Another powerful evening practice is forgiveness. As the day ends, there may be moments that linger in your heart. Words you wish you had spoken differently. A misunderstanding that still stings. Someone else's actions that hurt you. Holding on to these feelings can harden the heart overnight. Releasing them in prayer allows the soul to rest. Imagine placing each of those moments into God's hands. One by one. Lord, this hurt is heavy. I give it to you. Lord, this mistake is weighing on me. I place it before you. Lord, this person wounded me. Help me to forgive and let go. This is not weakness. It is courage. It is choosing peace over bitterness. Forgiveness at night does not mean everything is solved instantly, but it opens a door. It allows healing to begin its quiet work while you sleep. Families that learn to forgive at the end of the day often wake up with lighter hearts and clearer minds. As the house grows still, prayer once again becomes a gentle bridge between the human heart and the divine presence. Some whisper a simple thank you. Others pour out their hearts in detail. Some sit in silence, letting the weight of the day dissolve in the quiet awareness of being loved. This rhythm mirrors the natural arc of life. We are born into the world in a cry. We walk through its noise. And at the end of each day, we are invited to return to stillness, to lay everything down, to rest in hands greater than our own. For those who struggle with anxiety at night, this practice can be especially powerful. Instead of letting worries race through your mind, imagine handing each one to God like small stones being set down beside a river. One by one, until your hands are empty and your heart is light. This is not pretending that problems do not exist. It is remembering that you are not carrying them alone. It is trusting that tomorrow will have its own grace. When families pray together before sleeping, children learn that their home is not just a shelter for their bodies, but a refuge for their hearts. Teenagers learn that their struggles are seen and valued. Adults are reminded that they are part of something larger than themselves. Elders find joy in watching the next generation walk in light. If your family has never done this before, you can begin simply. Gather for a minute. Speak one word of gratitude. Whisper one short prayer. Let it grow slowly over time. The power is not in the length of the prayer, but in the sincerity of the heart. For those ending their day alone, this quiet time can become a place of deep intimacy with God. Speak as if to a trusted friend. Share your hopes. Lay down your fears. Express your thanks. Ask for strength for tomorrow. Let the silence between your words be filled with His presence. As you lay your head down tonight, remember that the God who watched over you this morning will keep watch through the night. You do not have to hold everything together while you sleep. You can rest. You can breathe. You can trust. When we live this daily rhythm of morning connection, walking through the day with intention, and ending with gratitude, something inside us begins to change. Our hearts become softer. Our minds become clearer. Our families grow stronger. Our communities become places of light. This is the invitation for every soul. To wake with peace. To walk with faith. To rest with gratitude. Community affirmation. Let's learn to love and communicate more healthily every day.